listen, there are people who live for Jesus, who love Jesus, and they tolerate this sin in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not, and they tolerate it because they don't think it's hurting them.
Right.
They don't think it's affecting their marriage. They don't think it's affecting, their ministry. And then all of a sudden, their life is falling apart.
You're listening to Real Men Talk with Anthony Kernott and Kyler Sal, a podcast designed to challenge, encourage, and equip men to live out biblical masculinity and become strong leaders in their homes, churches, and communities.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Real Men Talk. Today, we're going to talk about the chains that we learn to live with. When I started thinking about this concept, it's kind of painful, right? Because it kind of gives this notion of, or this thought that sin doesn't start abruptly.
Right.
It kind of starts with things that we tolerate.
Yeah. True. So
last night in men's group, we were talking about this, and in my favorite verse, come up, 2 Corinthians 10:4-5, we talk about bringing every thought underneath the captivity of Jesus Christ, right? So everything that you will ever do starts with a thought.
Right.
The thoughts that you allow to linger that are not of God turn into sin.
Yeah.
The thoughts that you tolerate turn into sin.
Yeah.
Well, what happens, and both of us, I'm sure we can say we've been here at one point in our lives, or at least I can. I won't speak for you, and I'm sure many of our listeners are in a place or have been in a place where the sin in our life becomes normal.
Mm-hmm.
We no longer really try to get rid of it. We just live with it, right? Have you ever heard of somebody who's like, yeah, I was a functioning alcoholic?
Yeah.
Kind of same concept.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really is. You're able to live your everyday life. You're able to manage everything properly, and yet you still have this sin. Maybe nobody else even knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you tolerate it.
Yeah.
Because you're able to manage it.
Right.
You still have to show up to church,
mm-hmm.
right? We have a gentleman at our church. I remember he was giving his testimony, and he said for like the first 2 years that he come to church, he was an alcoholic. He was still an alcoholic, right? He had come to know the Lord. He had all it, right? He had this thing. Nobody else knew. Nobody else knew.
He was pretty functional.
He was functional. And when we get to this point where we can, when we can manage our sin and it not really totally affect our day-to-day process, we just seem to leave it.
Yeah. Well, with chains, when you're building a chain, I mean, think about the little what were they? Construction paper chains that you used to make when you were kids.
Oh, yeah.
Those little things, you take it and you put one link on at a time, one link on at a time, one link on at a time, and eventually you've got this big long chain.
Right.
Same with any chain. You take it and you add one link on, and that one link itself doesn't weigh a lot.
Right.
It's by itself, it's like, oh, that's nothing. But when you start adding those those links together, that's when it becomes something that weighs so much that it's hard for us to bear. But at times we don't always know that we're adding those. Sometimes that weight just gets so much that we're like, we don't notice another one. Yeah, we don't notice another link. And it's great that we put that terminology in there, that chains, because when we're going about life, I mean, think of it like I think of it like this. Have you ever watched the Dickens Christmas Carol?
No.
Okay, well, there's that uncultured swine, I tell you. It's like a Christmas classic. All right, that's your homework for this Christmas. Anyways, on Dickens' Christmas Carol, there's Marley. And he comes back to warn Scrooge that, hey, if you don't change your ways, like, this is your fate.
Oh, yeah.
You know, okay.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I've seen that.
Finally, we're there. We're clicking. But anyways, he comes back, but he's got all these chains over him, and this is the weight of his life. And, you know, in that, it paints the perfect imagery that is weighing him down. It's keeping him from actually doing what he needs to be doing. And it was those chains he just got used to in life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a weight that he just carried with him every single day, and it didn't go away. It's like when you're lifting weights, you slowly are able to take on more and more and more and more and more. And those chains, as they build up, like I said, we don't know that they're always building up, because we get so deep into that sin. We get so deep into those chains that as we build it up, adding one more doesn't seem like anything else. And we have to be constantly aware of those things. So just like the guy going to church, I mean, he had done this for years, you know? And so those links meant nothing to him, because he was so enthralled in it, that adding one more didn't. And we have to make sure that we don't get so far into that sin that we don't notice the change that we're the links that we're adding to our chains, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Because, you know, I mean, and I think a lot of it has to do with comparison, right? Yeah. I mean, I've got this in my life, but it's not nearly as bad as Joe over here, you know, or, you know, Tim over here, you know, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And so, and I'm still able to function, and yet we're living in this sin this entire time, and we have no idea. Just like you were talking about, we have no idea that not only is it weighing us down, but it's destroying us. Right. Sin is like it's like an infection. Right. It eats away. It festers. It decays. It, you know, it causes all these issues that if it's left unattended, eventually it will kill you.
Yeah.
You know, it may take a little bit, but eventually that infection will kill you.
Right.
And sin is the same way. You can listen, there are people who live for Jesus, who love Jesus, and they tolerate this sin in their life. And if they're not, and they tolerate it because they don't think it's hurting them.
Right.
They don't think it's affecting their marriage. They don't think it's affecting, you know, their ministry. They don't. And then all of a sudden, their life is falling apart, and they don't understand why.
Right.
All of a sudden, they're allowing this sin to stay, and all of a sudden, their ministry's falling apart, and they are their life is falling apart, and they're going, wait a minute, I just had everything under control,
right?
And then it's not.
Yeah, it's like my house daily.
And then the kids wake up, right?
How did we get here? Yeah, and it's true. And when we talk about like it leading to death and sickness and that kind of stuff, like sometimes you don't always see that on this side. Sometimes it's the eternal death that you get because you just allowed that sin and you never come to repentance for that sin, and you're just like, it's okay, I got this under control. Right. And you have that conviction sometimes, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just suppress it so much that there's no longer a conviction for it. That it's just a thing.
A terrifying place to be.
Yeah. And that's the hard part, is if we allow those chains to build and build and build and build and build without identifying what they are and where they're at and how they're affecting us, it can lead to that.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And it looks different for everybody. You know, James 4:17 says, so it is sin to know the good and yet not do it. To know sin, all right, or to know what is good and yet you don't do it, it is sin.
Yeah. Right.
So things that we know that we should not be doing, we know, and yet we still do those things. I don't care what it is. I don't care. I don't care if it's golfing. If God told you not to do it and yet you continue to do it, it's sin.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care what it is. And we allow these things to affect our lives. It's interesting in John chapter 5. I won't read this one verse, but I want to give it context first. Jesus is going to this festival, and it talks about him going into the sheep gate, and by the sheep gate, there's this pool of Bethesda, right? Everybody's heard the story. There's the lame man. Jesus says something really interesting to him, right? He says in 5:6, it says, when Jesus saw him laying there and realized he had already been there a long time, he said to him, do you want to get well? Right? And his response, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but his response was, there's nobody here to help me, right? There's nobody here to help me get in the pool. I mean, he was there.
Right.
His healing, so if you don't know the story of the pool of Bethesda, I need to give it context here. It would boil, like it would come up, and the lame and the sick and all this would get in the pool, and they would be healed. The angels would stir this pool. So here he is. His healing is within sight. It's within sight. But he had literally given up trying to get there because every time he tried, somebody else would beat him there.
Yeah.
This is life.
Most definitely.
This is exactly where we are. It is like sometimes it is so much easier to stay in the sin than it is to get out.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to dwell in our comfort.
Yes.
Where we have been placed. I mean, I think when he asked that question, I'm like, do you even want to get well? Like, what are you doing? Like, that's how I'm picturing Jesus asking this. Like, what do you do? You could have got closer. That way it wouldn't take you as long to get here. Like, here's all these steps in my head. And he probably was just like, well, I've done it for 30 years. Why not just continue now? I mean, what's the point? What's the difference? Because he just became so complacent. He became so stuck in his state that he was just like, you know what? I'm comfortable here. This is my daily routine. This is what I do every day. And I'm okay waking up, trying the same thing, and I'll come back the next day. And he's like, and if one of these days I happen to get out of this state, great. If I don't, there's that.
Yeah. And it's, when you think about that, when you think about him laying there, he's paralyzed, laying there for 38 years, right? How terrible that would be.
Oh, yeah.
And just being so defeated, right, that he is comfortable with just laying there. When you, from the outside looking in, it looks so terrible. A terrible situation, of having to be there, nobody helping him to get in, whatever, yada, 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 whatever it is, right? But he was comfortable.
Yeah.
We do the exact same thing with sin in our life.
Yes.
We're comfortable. Why try to get in the pool? Trying to get in the pool is so hard.
Right.
I was talking to a young man.
I feel like that's a message. Try to get in the pool.
Huh?
So I feel like that's a message. Try to get in the pool.
Try to get in the pool. That's right. I was talking to a young man, and his life is, it's in shambles at the moment. And, he's kind of in this place where trying to get out from where he's at is going to take so much work. He's like, is it even worth it? I'm already so deep. Is it worth it?
Yes.
And I thought, man, and I didn't think, I told him, I said, that's an awful way to think about it.
Yeah.
Because he's young, right? He's younger than you are, right? And he's got his whole life ahead of him. And yet he's already in this place of, do I want to fight anymore? is it really worth the struggle of trying to get out, of trying to change?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like it just broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. You have your whole life ahead of you, and you are already in this place that you're just, I mean, don't get me wrong. We've all been there at times.
Oh, yeah.
We've all found ourselves in these situations. It's not like I'm casting condemnation on him. It's my heart breaks because there's so much more to life than his situation right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he can't see it. And it's just what he's always done.
Yes.
And because it's just what he's always done, he's comfortable in it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we get.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is where we end up at. We're comfortable in this state, because even though it's terrible, right? It's the norm.
Yes. And in those states, I think we forget the power that we have in Christ, because Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." We have that power. We remind our kids every single day, pretty much, because they always say something like, "Your words have power. Your words have meaning." And we get to that point in life where we have that power to speak life into us, or we have that power to speak death into us. Others have that power to speak life into us or to speak death into us. And when we get to that point where we are just so bogged down by the change, when we're so complacent in the life that we've created for ourselves, that we have now then spoken death into our life.
Mm-hmm.
We've now gotten to that point where it's no longer like, it's not that we don't have hope. It's that we've just decided that, you know what, I'm just not going to have hope anymore, because we make that claim over our life, and we have to remember that we have that power in Jesus to have those words speak life into us or death. Right. And that guy, he's in that season. He's in that stance where he's just speaking death into his life. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to get out of that, because we are so convicted. Go look up studies about negative thoughts and negative emotions. That it rewires your brain, and you focus more on negativity than you do positivity. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that that's a coincidence by any means. No, that we do that. Because if you're able to focus on the negative, you're able to destroy, you're able to bring down, you're able to tear down, but when we remember, okay, when it's brought to our remembrance that we have life through our words, to speak life into our words. No, that doesn't mean that instantly. No, God can do it. Don't get me wrong. He can change anybody's situation instantly. As soon as that guy made it to the pool of Bethesda, he was healed. That was it, but we have to remember that if we just continue to speak life into our situation, that I am not the product of my environment. I am a product of God. I am a child of the one true King. I am a child of the Most High God. I am above. I am not below. I am the head. I am not the tail. When we keep saying those things to ourselves, that we are not a product of the environment, that we will control the environment that we are living into.
Come on.
Then we can change where we're at. Those chains start to break off. Those chains that have weighed us down for years slowly start to fall off, and it's not an easy thing. It's something that you have to wake up. We went to a Stronger Men one year. We listened to Craig Rochelle. Mm-hmm. He gets up every morning and he says this, like, and you can go on his website and you can read it verbatim what he says, but he speaks life into every situation that he is going to be in for that day, for the years. He speaks life over his kids, over his family, over his job, over everything. And he says this every single day. Mm-hmm. And it's this, I guess, mantra per se when he wakes up, and it's intentional. He intentionally sat down and he wrote it, and he said, "This is what I say because my words have power and my words have meaning." And if you remember those things, then you don't seem to be stuck anymore. You slowly look to see, oh, there is a way out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if I want to go back to the chain links for a minute.
Sorry, I digressed.
No, you and everything you said was spot on. But look at the life of Samson. Mm-hmm. Right? Samson dabbled in the sin with Delilah. He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. Right? and she comes in and I'm not going to read the whole story, but she comes in and she binds his hands, whatever. She's trying to learn his secret. And obviously it doesn't work. Then she finally wore him down enough where he actually told her, cut my hair, whatever. And then the Philistines come in and overtake him.
Mm-hmm.
This, again, I go back to this is life.
Yeah.
Eventually, what happens is Satan eventually wears us down enough. We are often most susceptible to sin when we are exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
We really are.
Yeah.
We come to the state where you're just tired of fighting.
Yeah.
You're like, in this moment, I am so tired.
Yep.
It's like Jacob and Esau,
Mm-hmm.
right? He come in hunting. He was so tired. He was so hungry.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, he was willing to give up his birthright.
Yeah.
For a bowl of stew, right? When we are exhausted, when we are mentally tired, when we have gone through a fight, right? Even if you've won that fight,
mm-hmm.
you are most susceptible to sin or defeat
Mm-hmm.
when you are exhausted. For example, look at Elijah. Right? So here you are, he does the most metal thing in the Bible, right?
Of course you would.
Yes. He calls down fire from heaven,
Yeah.
and then he kills 400 prophets of Baal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's like, "Ah!" I could just see him out there with a guitar going, "Ah!" Right?
Gosh.
Anyway.
Whatever gets you through the story.
Anyway, like he does the most awesome thing.
I picture that. Okay, I'm digressing for just a second. You remember how there's a movie, and I can't remember, it's a Jack Black movie, and he's literally telling the story, and like all these wild things are coming out in the story. That's what I just pictured.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. Now back to you.
In my head, it's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Back to you, Anthony.
Yeah. He's like, where's your God? He's sitting on the toilet,
Yes.
Anyways. So he does the most awesome, probably one of the coolest things that is recorded in history.
Yeah.
Calls fire down from heaven.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, not only does he call fire down, he's like, hey, I'll show you. Let's put more water on it. Let's put more water on it.
Mm.
I want to show you. Let's put more water on it.
Right.
And he's like, fire.
Oh, wait, there's more. Oh,
but
gosh.
then the next chapter, right? He won
runs.
this fight.
Yeah.
He won, he did one of the most awesome things recorded in the Bible. The next chapter, he's like, all right, God, Jezebel's trying to kill me. I'm ready to go. Just kill me. Just take me home.
Yeah. It's the most bipolar moment.
It really is.
Besides all of Psalms with David, but
right.
Continue. Yeah.
But we are most susceptible
mm-hmm.
to that stuff when we are exhausted. And here's the thing, Satan knows that.
Yeah.
Right? Satan knows that. And so what happens is we end up in the state where we're exhausted, and we're willing to give up just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is that little bit that we give up, it doesn't always look like, all right, God, I'm ready to die. Right? It looks like just giving in a little bit. Well, then nothing happened. Right? The world didn't crumble. Your wife doesn't know about it. Your children, the church, the ministry,
mm-hmm.
nothing knows. Nobody knows about it.
Right.
Well, why change it?
Yeah.
Right.
True.
And so now you have this little chain link, right? So back to Samson, here he is sleeping with this woman he's not supposed to be. And, she's begging for his secret. And he's like, no. He's telling her lies and different things like that. And then all of a sudden he has this moment. He should have never, he was way too comfortable. He should have never been there to begin with.
Right.
And because this comfortable spot he was in sin,
mm-hmm.
he comes to this moment where it destroyed him.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at that story, the amount of sin that he was in blinded him. Because what person wouldn't realize what their wife's doing in that
Right.
situation? Like, I know that we're onlookers, okay, and we're not actually in that situation. But would it not spark your curiosity why your wife keeps asking where your stream comes from?
Yeah.
Like over and
His
over.
wife.
And all this, and all of a sudden, like, these people keep trying to attack you.
Yeah.
Like, I find it funny you asked me this, and now somebody's attacking me.
Yeah.
But that's where we get so far into sin that it blinds us to what's actually happening. We can't see the truth of our environment. We get to a point where we're so bound that either one, he didn't care at that point in time. He was like, let them come. I can take them.
Yeah.
I can take this. This is a normal day. Right. But we get so far into the sin that it blinds us to the chains that we're actually wearing, the chains that we're actually bear, or sometimes it blinds us to what the chains actually are, that we can't actually see those chains.
Yeah. And that kind of brings us to this place of what do we do when we are comfortable in our sin?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because eventually you're not going to be comfortable anymore.
Right.
Just like Samson.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're not going to, like, it's going to get so heavy.
Yeah.
It's going to become so destructive that you can no longer ignore it. You will have to address it or allow it to destroy you.
Yeah.
One
of the two. Yeah.
I don't care if it takes years to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually that infection will spread, and it will become so bad. It will stink to other people. It will, I mean, it's literally killing you. It has to be addressed, or you will die spiritually.
Yeah.
And so what do we do? What do we do when we have to rock our entire way of life to change?
Mm-hmm.
First off, nobody's expecting it to be easy, right? Nobody expects change overnight. I don't, anyways. Right? You're not. This young man I was talking about earlier, I was telling him, I said, you didn't get here overnight, and you will not get out of this overnight.
Right.
Now, God can. He can, and I've seen him do it before, but it is not the norm.
Right.
Because what happens is if God takes it all away, we don't learn any lessons. We get off scot-free.
Yep.
There are instances and times and moments when God can do that, and that person will remain changed.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm not that dude. Right? I've got to learn everything the hard way.
Right.
Because I'm an idiot. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely a character flaw. And
Well, we're going to talk about this when we get to it.
Yeah. And I'm like, man. But.
Well, and he can't, with that instant change, some people, when that happens, they never go back into it because, that's just the way God's blessed them. But for probably, I would say 98% of us, that he has to equip us with the tools so we don't get back into that situation again. He has to, give us the tools to see, so that way we don't go back into it, how to deal with it so we don't go back into it, how to equip ourselves so we don't go back into it. Most wars were studied first. They didn't just go into and attack their enemy. They go through and they're like, okay, where's their strong points? Where's their low points? Where can I attack them from? And that's what we have to do with every situation. It's a battle. We have to know exactly how to fight the battle, how to fight the sin, how to fight, what is dragging us down. And that's where God wants us to be. He wants us to have the tools so that way we are not doomed to repeat it again.
That's right. Romans 6, verses 12 through 14 says this. It says, therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal body, so that you obey its desires, and do not offer any parts of it to sin as weapons for unrighteousness. But for those who are alive from the dead, you offer yourselves to God and all the parts of yourselves to God as weapons for righteousness. For sin will not rule over you, because you are not under the law, but under grace.
Mm-hmm.
First off, thank God for grace.
Mm. Yes.
Right? I think that we can all agree here. Not only is it our source of salvation, right? We're saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ, right? But the just day-to-day actions that I look back and I'm like, I totally didn't get what I deserved. God spared me here. God spared me here. God spared me here. Right. But Paul gives us this I don't want to say that word. This rule, you know, hey, listen, right now you're using your body for spiritual warfare against God, right? You're allowing this sin to reign in your life. It is time for us to stop,
right, and
start using our bodies for spiritual warfare for God.
Yep.
Right. That we will fight the kingdom. And I was telling the guys last night when we were talking about 2 Corinthians 10:4-5, the reason why I like that verse so much, out of all, you know, the Bible's full of just wisdom and all these things, but the reason why I like that one so much is because it teaches me how to fight spiritually. Right. And I like to fight.
Yeah.
Right. I'm by nature, I'm combative. Right. I can't help it. My wife hates it.
I see that.
And I have always been this way. You know, it's funny because Josh he comes to men's group all the time. We've known each other for back whenever I was a punk. Right. And he's like, you were so right. I was like, I know, dude. I was a punk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God. Thank you for grace. And
you were so right.
But I am by nature, I am combative, right? And so using this verse, it teaches me to take that and use it against the darkness.
Right.
Use it against Satan. I will, whenever I come to this realization that not every thought is my own, that he throws junk at us all the time when we're weak and when we're tired, and sometimes just to see what will stick. I know I can fight this. I can fight this.
Yeah.
Right. In my spiritual being, through the grace of God, that I can take my thoughts and be like, Jesus, this one doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Take it. Right. And this is spiritual warfare. And I can win.
Yes.
And I love to win. It's part of my combative, personality.
A little competitive.
Very, very. I remember the last time, funny story, the last time I played basketball with the boys, it's been a long time because, they're adults now. And, and I beat them, and it took everything I had, right? Some illegal moves and everything I had. I never played them again. So I was like, I'll never be able to beat them again.
I don't know. I think you'd probably just take them out one by one.
I don't know. Tony's about my size now, but because I like to win.
Yeah.
Right. And the thought of them beating me, I won't allow it. I just won't play.
I beat you. I'm undefeated.
That's right.
I'm going to stick with that title. Right. Lord.
Dad's always got you.
I did tell my kids, I was like, we can race, but I will push you down if you ever try to beat me. I don't care. I will win.
The other day, Maverick's 5, we were playing Mario Kart. He's like, Dad, will you let me win? No.
Why would I do that?
He's like, he's 5. Well, if he wants to win, he'll earn it like everybody else does.
We are not giving you participation trophies. Oh, look, I fell off. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're not that family.
No.
Anyways.
No, we shouldn't be either.
No, absolutely not. But anyways, so I digress.
Yes, you did. See?
Yeah. But getting back on topic, we can win. We
Yes.
can be victorious. You know, this is the point that I was trying to make. We can be victorious because we have the tools. God has given us the tools
Yeah.
to be victorious.
Mhm.
Now, is it easy? Absolutely not. First off, the road to victory, whenever I say victory, spiritual victory will never be easy
Right.
because we will be fought tooth and nail all the way there. All the way, every step of the way, it is going to be a fight, but it is a fight that is worth living. And this is the reason why we have to understand that it is a fight worth living, is because there's more at stake than just me.
Yes.
There is more. I'm not just fighting this fight for me. It may directly involve my spirituality, but my spirituality is linked to my children, my wife,
Mm-hmm.
people who surround me, people who follow me, right? And therefore, this fight is worth it. I had a guy tell me one time, you know, he's like, it's not fair. It's always on us. And I kind of had this moment. And I was like, suck it up, Buttercup. We're men. This is what we do. We fight so our families don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God built us this way.
Yes.
It was never meant to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It was never meant to be this this glorious, you know, we just tiptoe through. No, we are warriors.
Yeah, we're not going to frolic through fields of daisies.
No, that's not what we do.
Sometimes I wish. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a break every now and again.
Right, but
you know what I mean?
we don't. That's not
do.
our role. It's not our
No.
calling.
We call fire down from heaven. Ah!
With our guitars on Guitar Hero.
Yes.
As he said. Oh, Lord.
I wish they bring that game back. Anyways,
It died for a reason.
it broke my heart.
His heavy metal dreams are broken, shattered.
It's the reason why God never gave me any musical talent, because I would have tried. I'd have been a rock star. God's like, just let's just not even tempt him with that.
I'm just picturing this long hair, black eyeliner, Anthony over here. Rah.
You should have seen me in high school.
Oh, nah.
Well, I didn't have the long hair, but yeah,
Scary kid. Is that what you were?
I was.
Were you the emo kid?
I was a punk.
I was punk. Well, I guess when you were in school, it wasn't called emo. It's different.
No.
It changed. I'm younger than you, so
Yeah,
things changed.
no, I was just a punk.
But anyways, in 2 Corinthians 10,
Yes.
let's move on. So we talked many times about 2 Corinthians 10. What do we say? Maybe lose my thought because we got into your emo-ness. But taking every thought captive under the
Yes.
sun. But when you get up here, you start looking at, and just go read this whole chapter.
Right.
2 Corinthians 10, but it says, in verse 3, for although we live in flesh, we do not wage war against the flesh, since the weapons of our warfare are not of flesh, but are powerful through God for the demolition of strongholds. We demolish arguments and every proud thing that is raised up against the knowledge of God, and we take every thought captive to obey Christ. Right there in that verse 4, since the weapons of our warfare are not of flesh, but are powerful through God for the demolition of strongholds, we demolish arguments. Our weapons that we are given cannot be of the fleshly nature. We cannot break any chains. We cannot wage any warfare. We can't do it because we do not fight a fleshly battle.
That's right.
We fight against principalities and rulers of darkness. It's a spiritual battle that we fight every single day. And if you use worldly, earthly tactics to try to go up against this, it's not going to work. It will never work. And it's not saying that that's wrong if that's what you want to try. It's just not going to work.
Right.
I mean, We'll just call it ace and ace. You have to use the tools that God has given you in the authority under Jesus Christ to take every thought captive, to take every movement captive, to take every action captive under the sun, under the blood of Christ. Give it to him and help him, or have him help you,
Right.
to defeat these strongholds, to demolish everything that is up there. Because otherwise, he's not going to. I mean, going into the last thing, how to break these chains, exactly like that.
Yes.
Take it to Christ. Let him help you, because you're never going to do it alone. As long as you have the grace of God that is covering you, okay, and you're following in his will for your life, he will break those for you. He will help you break those. I mean, he went to the cross to carry our burdens. Give it to him, and he will start breaking every single thing, and all of a sudden you'll see this release.
Yes.
There's a peace that surpasses all understanding for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, dive into your scripture. We talk about it all the time, and you will understand how to get out of these chains.
Yeah. You know, and to remember that we have a reason of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Not only do I want to be in heaven, and I do, but I also want my children to be in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I want my wife to be in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody I know around me, right? So again, I go
Mm-hmm.
back to, I'm not just fighting for me.
Right.
This thing is so much bigger than I am.
Yeah.
It is so much bigger. There are so many people, when you have as many children as we do, and you know,
True.
there is a lot of people dependent on us, right? We don't have the luxury of sitting back and taking a day off spiritually.
Right.
Right.
We
We don't have it. I'm not saying that every day is, we just get up and we read our Bible and we're always so successful. No, that's not what I'm saying.
There are days I hit that snooze.
It's called a fight for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because sometimes it sucks,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes it's hard. No, not sometimes. It's always hard.
Yes.
It's always hard.
And sometimes we make it sound bad because of the weight we bear, but it's an honor to be able to do those things.
That's exactly right.
Yes, it's hard. No, it's not going to be easy, but it's an honor to be able to do those things,
Right.
to be able to fight for your family, to be able to, look at any warrior in history. It was an honor to serve. It wasn't a weight. They saw it as something that was set apart, set higher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we are. We are set apart for a reason to bear that weight for our family because we've been given that authority too.
That's right. And we're at different stages of life. You and I, all your kids are young.
Yep.
Right. I now have adult kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have the luxury of seeing them out on their own, right? Seeing the fruits
Right.
of my fighting spiritually, right? Where my children now are living for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And they're serving in the church, and they are good human beings.
Yeah.
Right. So I have this luxury of looking back and being like, you know what? Every time I missed sleep, every time I got up early, every time I drugged them to church, every time I didn't want to be there, every time I served in ministry, all these things that were, these moments when I was exhausted and I pushed through anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them paid off.
Yep, they did.
Because now I have children who love God,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who serve God. The other day, Tony called me. He's 21, turns 22 this year. And he called me for advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he called me for advice and it was spiritual advice.
Mm-hmm.
Now he works at a Christian college.
Right.
He works at a church. He calls his dad, right? That was like, I don't know. You could have given me a piece of gold and it wouldn't
it wouldn't have touched it.
It wouldn't have touched it, right?
Like,
you could have given me $1 million and that.
You're calling me?
Yeah.
You realize where you're at right now? You're calling me?
That's exactly right. But it really is the fruit of my labor.
Yeah.
It really is the fruit of my labor. And it's so great to be able to sit down and have conversations and them, and seeing them grow in spiritually and all this stuff. But getting there is not easy.
Mm-mm.
Over the last 22 years, 23, Dusty and I will be married for
It's a test.
24 years. Man, I'm old. 24 years this year. And
yeah, you are. That's almost my age at 10, but
yeah,
you get it.
20 turns 22. No, we'll be married for 23 years this year. All right. But
I'm glad you figured it out now. Just imagine your anniversary. Dusty asking, how long have we been married? Did you carry the 2, subtract the 1? Just kidding. Anyways.
At this point, we've been married so long, it doesn't even matter.
We've been married a long time.
That's right. That's right. I still love you, so that's all that matters.
Right.
But, you know, the fight is worth it.
Yes.
The fight is worth it. The struggle. And the thing is, there's always, God has given us tools, right? I always go back to this. God has given us tools to be successful. And the reason why I like to image them as tools, right? When I go do something, I'm one of these guys, I like to be kind of prepared, right? I like to have the tools for the job, right? I'm not one of these guys that, I can use this funky looking screwdriver to do this one thing and that has absolutely no purpose for this, but I'm not that guy.
I am that guy.
I'm not.
I will use a knife to get out a screw. It's fine.
I mean, I can't. I don't like it. Right. I like to have the tools for the job. And I've always been that way. And when it comes to spiritual life, God has given me tools to be successful. I have all of the tools available to me to be successful in life.
Yes.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, right? Not 2 Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Verse 13, it says, no temptation has come upon you except what is common to humanity. But God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with temptation, he will also provide a way out so that you may be able to bear it.
Yep.
God gives us a way out.
Yes.
But sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes we like the temptation, right? Because it pulls at our flesh. And yet, so even though God has given us a way out, by grace through his son, by, whatever, I mean, I can think of countless ways God has given me a way out of temptation. A phone call, a knock on the door, whatever it is that God has provided a way out of temptation, right? He gives me the tools. Yeah. And we go back to 2 Corinthians 10:4-5, bringing every thought captive. Jesus is not like, hey, you're weighing me down with all your stuff. No. Bring every single thought. And I don't know about you. I have some wild thoughts.
I can tell your heavy metal dreams.
I'm telling you right now, dude.
Lord, take it from me. I know I can't do it. Just take my heavy metal dreams.
No, they'll stay.
I'm just telling you where they should go. Don't worry, buddy. I'm just trying to lead you here. It's all right. I will be your biggest fan from home. Promise.
But, he's given us a way out. And he's given you a way out as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a leader. He's giving you a way out of sin. And it's through him. Yep. Right? All those paths lead to him.
Yes.
We have been victorious. Things that if we're going to conquer, and this is the conversation I had with this young man, if you're going to conquer this, you can no longer try to do it by yourself.
Right.
Because, and we say this all the time, and I will continue to say this all the time because it is so pertinent. It is so important. One of the tools in your arsenal, one of the tools that God has given you is other people, brothers in arms, right? You have to surround yourself with people who will push you to be better.
Yes.
Me and my wife, we were having this conversation because she's also one of these people who drive me to be better consistently. I want to be better for her, right?
Yeah.
And then I showed up to men's group last night, right? And I'm teaching, and I'm looking around at these guys. There's 10, 12 of us sitting around. And I think to myself, every one of you drive me to be better. I want to be better for you.
Yep.
Right. But they're also even though I want to be better even though I'm the leader, any one of those guys, when I'm hurting, they're there to pick me up.
Yeah.
Right. I may be there to pick them up, as the leader, help them out, pray with them, all this stuff. They all do the same thing for me.
Yeah.
I cannot be as successful in life without them. I heard a guy say one time as we land this plane, he said, you want to go fast? Go by yourself. He said, you want to go far? You go with somebody.
Yeah.
And that's true. That is true to life, because eventually you're going to get tired.
Yes.
Eventually you're going to get, you're going to get weighed down.
Yeah.
One of the things that God told Elijah when he was praying, God just kill me. He said, you're not the only one. There are 4,000 other prophets I have that still serve me. Here he thought one of the things that the reason why he was so tired is he thought he was the only one. We are not the only one.
Right.
You are not the only one. God has placed men in your life. All you have to do is reach out to them, right?
Yes.
And I strongly, and this is the reason why I'm such a huge advocate for men's ministries. And not men's ministries where you just, you do events and stuff like that. Men's ministries where you do life together.
Yeah.
Right? Where you study together, where you grow relationships and stuff, because we need them.
Yes.
We need them. And they are a tool that God has given us to be successful. Obviously his word, our communication, that we can bring anything to him.
Yes.
Anything at all. The other day, Emery had practice, and Dusty and Amberlyn had to work and all this stuff, and Maverick was here, and I was down in the studio, and I was working on some stuff, and Maverick was upstairs watching TV, and he comes downstairs and he's like, Dad, I'm scared of being up here by myself. He said, well, you come up here with me. I said, absolutely. He can come to me for anything. Anything. God does the same thing. You will never weigh him down. Right. He's like, we've all had those thoughts of, well, I don't really want to weigh God down with this. Yeah. Right. I don't want to buy it. He never feels that way. He loves us. Yeah. Right. Just like I love my son. He loves us. We'll never weigh him down. And it's, again, I go back to, it's a tool. Yeah. And it's kind of, I don't know, sometimes I feel bad of referencing that way, but it really is. It is the tools God's given us to be able to be successful in this Christian life, to conquer these sins that we are comfortable in, right? That we really can break out of these bondages and not just live in them. Yes. And men, I've got it. We would love to walk through that journey with you. If you are struggling, you are hurting, reach out to us. Email us, realmen@palaceofpraise.com. Contact us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. But know that God loves you, and he is for you. He, more than anybody else, wants you to be successful. Yes. He loves you. And as always, I want to end it in prayer. Holy Spirit, help us to be men after your heart, that we will not be comfortable in our sin, that it will detest us as it does you, that we will see it and we will understand that it hurts you, that it kills us. Lord, let us see it for what it really is, and call us to righteousness. Lord, and let us see the tools that you have given us to be successful, that even though we are tired and we may be exhausted, Lord, but you are there to comfort us. You are our place of rest. And Lord, that you will walk with us through this journey, Lord, and everything that we do will glorify your name. In Jesus' name I pray.
Thanks for listening to Real Men Talk with Anthony Cronut and Kyler Sal. If this conversation helped you grow, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode and check out Framework for Biblical Masculinity as you continue leading your home, church, and community.
This episode was edited and produced by Real Men Studios, LLC, helping podcasts sound as good as their message.